So Tyler, ever since day one, he had a very positive outlook, positive personality. I knew what he did with the ranch, and his whole process of recovery went like 100% positive.
My name is Tyler Tusher. I'm originally from Sandy, Utah. Moved here to Fillmore at the very beginning of 2017 to go to a treatment center, for substance abuse. And being a city boy, landing here in the country was definitely new to me. And it definitely was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Just the lifestyle of you have to earn everything that you have and be appreciative for the things that I do have was pretty foreign to me. And that's what kind of started the process of change, I've been neglecting my health and my body for the last 15 years. And so when I started that journey of recovery, all the aches and pains of physical trauma and physical abuse arose. And I can honestly say if it wasn't for the people in this community, Fillmore and Holden, I wouldn't have made it, And, here I sit almost 3 years later. I have a little 10-year-old girl that loves coming down here. I have a family support system that had pretty much given up on me, that now are along for the ride and cheering me on. So my background is a background of abuse to my physical well-being and my mental mind state. And I can say that the things I picked up here have changed substantially how I view not just life but other people and my health. I had torn my ACL playing basketball years ago, back in like 2013. And I just limped along with it, because I didn't care, really. And once I was able to get sober and doing the work at the ranch, it's when I really realized how much it was hampering my lifestyle, But I feared having that surgery for opiate abuse reasons, but also for just money, and just I kind of accepted that, I guess this is just life, I don't really have to do the things I love, being basketball, hunting, just being active. And so I put it off for quite a while. And so having this surgery was huge for me. And I remember, 3 days after surgery, the operating doctor told me I had to go to physical therapy, and I thought he was crazy. I was like, no way. I was like, 3 days, you want me to go bend this thing around? And so I came in here all nervous and met Scott, and he alleviated all those fears from day one. He's real kind and gentle and knowledgeable, and it just made me relax, honestly. And part of the things I try to teach the guys at the ranch is the importance of establishing an environment of healing, an environment of well-being and care. And I feel like every time I came here, I felt that environment. The staff was always really welcoming and genuine and kind. I felt like they knew my name after the first visit, which goes a long way with me. Not just a number in the medical field. I was actually a person. And they took the time to explain why, I was feeling pains in my calves when I was here for a knee thing. Well, I hadn't been using them 100% for so long. They took the time to explain that stuff to me, and they went at my body's pace, And so I just appreciated that, and I expressed that to them constantly. I was like, man, the positivity and the vibes in the environment here is so conducive to recovery and well-being that I love it, And so today I would have to say I really fixate on when I do something, what's my motive behind it? Like, am I doing it because I genuinely care and I genuinely want to help somebody? Do I really want to help this person? And I really analyze, I think, the well-being of the person.
From day one, you can tell certain people who you're really going to have to push hard to get to do anything. And Tyler wasn't that way. He was willing to push himself. We just essentially gave him the guidelines of recovery, and he pretty much did it himself. And my purpose was trying to empower him in the recovery process more than just him relying on me as the therapist to be the one trying to get it better. Because essentially it all comes down to the patient's willingness to participate, his desire to get better or her desire to get better, and improve their overall wellness, their health, their goals. So I feel like that's kind of my role as a physical therapist, is to empower the patient to become a better person, to recover from both physical and mental problems or challenges that they have. In physical therapy, we deal with a lot of physical injury, but there's a lot of mental, emotional aspects of healing that we try to address as well. So it's been a great opportunity to work through the process with both Tyler and other people. So yeah, his general positive outlook on healing and recovery was wonderful, and I think that's generally why he was able to recover and do better and heal and get back to his lifestyle. So.
I feel like it's mentally, there was a lot of times I'd be sitting on those machines and I'd see Scott come out and give direction to other patients, and then he'd walk away and I'd see him take their foot off the pedal, and they'd relax, and then Scott would come back and they'd get going again. And I just had this mindset of, you're only hurting yourself. Like, if you do that, ultimately it doesn't affect Scott whether you are giving 100% or not. And so I really had to overcome my wanting to do that, especially when I started running on the treadmill. They made me stop and push the treadmill myself. I'd be dripping sweat. I had to lie down a couple times. I'm not going to lie. I had to call a timeout and lay down and get some water going, which they were totally fine with. I didn't feel embarrassed that I had to do that. They were really kind and understanding, and checked my pulse to make sure I wasn't going out of control. And so I think mentally, you have to get over that mental block of, well, I'm doing this for me and I'm doing it for my well-being, and it works. Yeah, so obviously our minds play tricks on us, and we think that if we have a legitimate reason to use them and use them under strict guidance, that we're able to. However, once you've opened that door, there's no closing it. And so for me, I just determined that I wasn't even going to open the door of opiates. And as far as what steps I took to accomplish that, well, when you go into surgery, you meet your doctor, but then you meet the two nurses in the prep room, and then you go have surgery, and then when you come out, you got the recovery nurses, and then when you get moved from that room, you have a couple more nurses, and all of them were trying to give me opiates. And I just had to make it very clear at every level, like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm doing just acetaminophen, and that is it. And my father also went in the room with me and made it very clear, let's just do acetaminophen. And so I had to be really vocal on it, I remember my vulnerable time was when I was first coming out of surgery. That nurse came in and she was like, okay, well, let's get you a couple of 7.5 Narcos. And I was like, okay. No! I was like, I can't do it, because it's just so natural for them, to stop the pain, because they're caregivers, they don't want to see people in pain. But you can do it. It honestly was not that painful. In hindsight, it really wasn't. I had it set up at home, to where my daughter and my mom were there to help me to keep the movement down. I just kept ice on it like 24/7. And that seemed to help a lot, and so definitely you got to be vocal about it, and it's possible. I mean, I did it with just acetaminophen, and Scott, I made it very clear to him when I came in, hey, look, I have a history of, opiate addiction, and I'm really scared, and so they were really gentle. It really was. I feel like the first couple months I was like, wow, physical therapy, this isn't that bad. Then it starts. Then the strengthening starts. But even then, I never had a day where I was like, oh my gosh, it's just killing me. It was always manageable.
Voice your opinion. I think it's a standard nowadays to give the medication to calm the pain. And if that's something that you're definitely worried about, voice that opinion. And we'll try to make it so every treatment session is ended with a modality or something that's going to calm the post-exercise soreness. We're going to set you up with a program where at home you're trying to calm the pain with conservative techniques. There's a lot of surgeries that are quite uncomfortable, painful. It's hard to recover from, especially those first couple weeks. It can be really rough. So talk about it. Discuss it with us. Voice your concerns. Don't be afraid to talk about your fears. Medical providers want to understand a patient's feelings about things, and most of the time people keep their mouth shut. They don't talk about what they're worried about, their fears, and don't be afraid to talk about those things with us, because we'll adapt, we'll accommodate, we'll make things work for you.
What I would want to share is recovery does not mean becoming who you were before. And what I mean by that is recovery to me is resetting your brain, reprogramming your thought process, and really discovering who you are and who you want to be. Like, what are your standards? What are your goals? What do you believe? What do you truly believe? And then once you've made that determining factor of okay, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to become, give everything you have to make that happen. If something comes up, something tough, you get hit with trials or a setback, don't accept defeat. Just know that that's just the path to becoming more than what you were. And you will find that as you live true to who you are and you give everything you have to who you are, that life just makes sense and it becomes easier. And pretty soon you're happier. And things that used to really upset you and disappoint you and make you angry, make you sad, they don't even register on your radar anymore.
So like in exercise physiology, the concept of fatiguing a muscle, coming to failure basically, where you've given that muscle all it's got and it fails, that's where we want to be a lot of times in rehab and strengthening. And a lot of times in life it's the same concept. Failure doesn't mean it's the end of things, it means improvement, it means becoming better. So don't let failures in life dictate what happens in your future, because failure happens. It's a matter of if you're going to get back up and you're going to keep trying. And that concept goes along with rehab, recovery, overall wellness, becoming the person you want to be. And it's an important aspect of life. So when things are hard, don't give up. Just get back up, rely on your family, your friends, your medical community, your therapists. I mean, rely on other people if you need to, but keep trying, keep working at it. I'm really happy with what Tyler does. I mean, he takes people in the community, trying to help and make people better, and showing that love and support. That's a huge thing, especially in a small community like this.